This is St. Peter's Square and St. Peter's Basilica. The fact that we were here during Easter week and Jubilee year wasn't necessarily planned, but it turned out to be great timing. Not only were we able to attend Easter Mass served by the Pope in St. Peter's Square, but we got to attend it with a childhood friend of mine who is now a Benedictine monk and used to actually work at the Vatican, Father Dave. St. Peter's Basilica is a church built in a Renaissance style, and it's the largest church in the world. While it's neither the mother church of the Catholic Church nor a cathedral of the Diocese of Rome, St. Peter's is still regarded as one of the holiest Catholic shrines and as the greatest of all churches in Christendom. Catholic tradition holds that the Basilica is the burial site of St. Peter, chief among Jesus' apostles, and he was also the first bishop or Pope of Rome. St. Peter's tomb is supposedly directly below the high altar of the basilica, and for this reason many of the popes have been buried here since early Christian times. A church has actually stood on this site since the time of the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great. The old St. Peter's Basilica dates from the 4th century AD, and the construction of this present basilica began in 1506 and was completed in 1626. I have to admit that sometimes when you do this research, it gets a little confusing because I could have swore that I read in the Pope's residence that was built on St. Peter's tomb, but I didn't think it was right when I read it either, but I think this place is the right place. The uniformed Swiss Guard were reinforced by uniformed police as people were entering the area. We actually got there before the crowd started moving in, so we didn't have to stay in line too long, but Father Dave, in full monk attire, was not immune to search and checking. This is an Egyptian obelisk. They don't know which pharaoh had constructed it, but it's assumed that it was erected at Heliopolis around 2500 BC. Then somewhere around 30 BC, it was moved to Alexandria by Emperor Augustus, but it eventually ended up here, and we were sitting right next to it during the Mass. The Pope presides at a number of liturgies throughout the year, both in the Basilica and in St. Peter's Square, and they draw huge audiences from 15,000 to 80,000 people. And since we were there during Easter, there was a lot of people there. But I gotta tell you, religious or not, you gotta admire a person who can switch from Latin to Italian to Spanish to German without missing a beat. One thing you just can't explain in words or show it in pictures is the immense size of this basilica. It is huge beyond huge. This area, which is now covered by Vatican City, had been a cemetery and was a burial ground for numerous executions in the nearby Roman circus. It's actually funny how you name a place for burials and tortures and executions as a circus. This is Michelangelo's Pieta. Underneath here is where St. Peter's tomb is supposed to be. Take a good look at these paintings because they're not paintings. They're actually mosaics. And those are tiny little pieces of glass to make this look like paintings. I got a kick out of these sisters taking a selfie